Hey, this is Laurel, and a lot of you have been like giving some feedback and saying, I want to make some money. I actually need to grow my business, and I really need to understand millionaire structure. So go to asklaurel.com/podcast, grab 2 free tickets to my Millionaire Intensive. I'll see you there and teach you every one of those topics.
Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
Welcome, everybody. And again, like Steve said, if you can't ask a question, you can't start a conversation. A lot of times people say, well, I don't know what questions to ask. Read the book. And when you think that you're assuming something, oh, this is what you assume I say, then you come back and you say, oh, and I need to be assured that this is the right thing. Because a lot of you misinterpret, like just Ask Laurel has been so profound from the standpoint of, just your understanding about the concepts. Like a lot of you're on YouTube and you're packing together 3 or 4 concepts or 3 or 4 strategies. They don't go together. So keep asking and clarifying questions and assurance questions instead of assuming questions, because a lot of you're assuming, and then you go out and try to do some on your own and you end up hurting yourself, meaning financially it's going to cost more to get you fixed than what you did, in the first place. So don't do this without help. People who are in the financial, like traditional Schwab and Fidelity and, sit behind the desks. Then when you come in, like, oh, we're going to give you a balanced portfolio. By the way, it's all software. It's all programmed. They go to school for less time than it takes someone to cut hair. Somebody that wants to cut and color hair has to go to school longer than somebody sitting behind one of those desks. So that's what I mean by park and pray. So don't park and pray. To be on this call, you're either a member, and which all of you have the opportunity to do a one-on-one with one of our senior folks and then come live with me here. So that's how they get selected, is you have to go through a gap analysis, talk to a senior strategist, and then be here. So today we have Lenore, who's working with Leanne. We have Odyssey working with Sandy. We have Victoria working with Laura. Rick working with Nick. And Adolfo just working with Rebecca, who's out of Mexico. Perfect. All right, Lenore, where's she at?
Hello, here.
Hey, Lenore, where do you live in Texas?
I live in Boerne, Texas, which is outside San Antonio.
I know exactly where that is. My brother lives in that area. Okay, so are you going to come live so I see your cute little face?
Am I not on there?
Uh-uh.
Oh, my camera was closed. There we go.
I hope. All right, so your question is, my family and I have lazy assets and I want our money to make money for us. Our goal is to grow our rental portfolio and create passive income in order to replace my W-2 income within 2 years. Well, maybe even faster. You never know, because you're in a great market. And we have a lot of Texas Big Table members. You own 2 homes with good equity and an Airbnb. You've listened to a ton of podcasts, read books, and now have information overload. How do I get started? And how do I vet investment opportunities? You join our Big Table. So we're celebrating our 25th anniversary of our Big Table. And we are the only what's called integrated process. So we're not like a program you buy in once. It's a lifetime membership, and you've got to learn. So, people start with, we just come up with version 2 of the book. So this is version 1. They're 20 years apart. We put this one out in 2006, and now this one just came out. So you start with that, and then I jump immediately over to my Wealth Cycle Investing book, which is another Millionaire Maker book. And that starts giving you due diligence, risk analysis, how do you actually get money rules? How do you start structuring like what you want in your investment portfolio? Because right now, like you said, you're heavy in real estate. So things we would introduce and educate you on is gas and oil, aviation, water rights, mineral rights, storage, RVs. Like, we're going to give you the biggest breadth of a smorgasbord of investment opportunities. And then it's a part of a bigger strategy is the corporate strategy, living corporate life to reduce your taxes, really critical. And then how you invest, believe it or not, reduces your taxes. So there's a lot of assets you can buy that have a really high benefit to your tax return. And like the stock market, just as a capital gains machine. right? I mean, you might have some losses, but for the most part, it just adds more to the income, adds more to the tax. So, right. So, the way to think about it, Lenore, is you have strategy, the thing you want to do, you have tax, and then you have the law. So, how does that all go together in an investment portfolio? So, we teach it, and we teach it we start with the foundation of what should your corporate structure be like to protect those assets? What should your trust structure be like? What should your tax structure be like? If you have IRAs, life insurance, so we get the foundation reset first, and then we go load up those bank accounts. That's my favorite line from my greatest mentor. Set a good foundation. And he's like, I said, isn't this a little overbuilt? He said, well, you say you're going to make a lot of money, so go fill up the bank accounts. I'm like, I'm on. So that's what we do. Again, there's a lot of information on this thing called the bathroom wall of the internet. So for us, it's just really distilling down to our lane, right? So our lane is how to help you make a lot more money, get out of that W-2 faster. What do you do in your W-2, by the way? Just so I
I'm
can.
an HR consultant.
Oh, but that's an easy. You could like get out of W-2ing it and go have your own company, right?
Yeah, so I'm actually half and half right now. So I have a client I'm a 1099 through, and then I have part-time through a W-2. So to replace the W-2 is actually not that big of a deal. It's just
What?
doing it.
Well, and I would say, I mean, I would take you into a bigger corporate structure as a consultant because HR it's kind of like money. Like with me, there's so much you could do. Like you could do, because you have a unique name too, you could do Ask Lenore and ask any HR questions or setup questions. I mean, you could have a machine very similar to my Ask Laurel, but in the HR category, just so you meet people. And then by meeting people, guess what? They're going to become over time, potentially your investors. So I would package you and put you like together now that I know that very similar to the way that I'm structured. And let's go. That'd be fun. And I
Wow.
know that's a lot, but I mean, we're the only place that integrates because there's a
Yeah.
lot of places where you can get, just more real estate help. And I've got some of the greatest real estate. So you still might do like some isolated trainings. Most likely not, because we have so many millionaires in all those categories. All those asset classes I just mentioned, we've already have millionaires in every one of them. So we would keep you pretty inside the economy of the big table, which is quite large.
Which I think would be nice, like having just the resources sort of in one place. Like I did read your book,
Good.
and that was actually the first thing I did when I heard you on a podcast. And although now I don't know if it was the new one or the old one, so I'm gonna have to go back to Audible and see. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then I felt like, oh wow, this made so much sense, but also a little bit more confusing in where to specifically start. So having a lot of resources and guidance for that would be really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yep, we're just going to put you on a blueprint and go. So we start with foundation, but we also start your acceleration. I would ramp up on the HR, like the consulting business, and get rid of the job, make them a actual, like, pay your LLC or your S corp. And for you, probably, are you married, kids? You said family. So how many kids you got?
Yeah, two kids, teenagers.
So that would become a Texas S. So I mean, we're going to go through the tax team and the corporate structure team. But a part of it too, like when I say things like that, don't run out and go get one, because if that's not what you do, then you got the wrong thing, right? So your first calls with me, and we really assess in a deeper way. Leanne's just pointing to where you have gaps, and then what solutions we have, and then I'm the first one that lines up the solution and
Right.
lays out your sequence.
Perfect.
Okay,
Awesome.
perfect. All right. Well, great to meet you. Look forward to working
Thanks.
with you.
Yeah,
Have
you
a great.
too.
I like your big
Thanks,
tech.
Laura.
Thank you. All right, Adolfo, how are you? You're working with Rebecca, and there you go. Come on live. Hi, how are
All
you?
right. Hi, good. How are you?
Good. Where do you live in California?
I live in Carlsbad, North San Diego.
Yep, been there many times. Hay House is there, my publisher of my S Energy book. So been there many times. Did Hay House Radio for years. It was fun. So you're working with Rebecca. Your question is, you're working currently as a W-2 engineer. How much do you make? Is it north of?
100, 140?
Ooh. All right. Are you married, kids, the whole thing?
Yes.
And does your spouse, a partner, have a W-2 as well
Yeah, my wife has I said W2 too. Yeah,
in California?
in California.
Adolfo. We're going to get you having some Nevada companies. I don't even know what your question is. I just know anybody in California has to come over to our side of the state to actually fix your California tax basis. So we'll get there. Your question is, I have an e-commerce business that will be dying out soon and need a new cash machine. I own property in Southern Cal that isn't cash flowing. The interest rate's 7%. Ouch. Oh, you got some fixing to do. You own property in Mexico. You want to own more. I'll go with you there. I keep telling Steve's from Mexico too. I said, like, I want to go buy cows and land in Mexico. Looking to stay in your current job. You're juggling two kids. How do you get ideas for a side hustle and what are your options of financing in order to buy property in Mexico? So lots of questions in that one question. Let's pull it apart. So first of all, what do you sell? Why is your e-commerce business dying? Is it just the product
So
doesn't sell well or what?
yeah, it's just a product. Well, actually, I was doing like drop shipping, but it's too yeah, it's not working anymore, and it's too much of a work or much time that I have to put there. So
With
I've
not
been with that business about 10 years now, and it's just dying now.
So I would still stay in that cash machine area, and folks like you that are going to keep your W-2, same with your wife, is to partner in. So again, part of our community in the big table is like we just had over 300 people in a room last Monday, Tuesday. Can you imagine everybody like in this conversation, learning from each other? It's phenomenal. So you meet a lot of people that have this. There's all sorts of other kinds of e-commerce affiliate joint ventures that you could do. Whether it's with us or another person in the community. So finding a cash machine is just more dissecting your skill sets, coming up with a list and then pro-conning the best options and what's your fastest path to cash. So that would be part of what we're doing. But we've also got to go back and say, do you have any corporate structure? Like, do you have a Mexican corporation for the land
No,
and
no, I don't.
no California companies, nothing yet? Okay.
No.
You have a whole foundation and you're overpaying taxes, I know, just by what you have.
Yes.
I mean, you're getting killed. So we would start with corporate structure, um, a trust eventually. How old are your kids? Very young.
16 and 11. Yeah, I don't have a
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
either.
You can need a trust, especially in California. And then, so if you're going to keep your jobs, is partnering into a bigger cash machine. But since you've already been in the technical side, I mean, that is one of the fastest areas to grow a new side hustle. But it's probably partnering with someone else where you can share the load. And maybe that is your spouse, maybe it's not, depends on your skill sets. So that's kind of one thing. Um, and interest rates are going to adjust and go down. Do you guys have pretty good credit? I would say refinance that. And we have a bunch of different people that could help you refinance that. As far as owning more Mexican property, I owned a Mexican corporation and we owned Cerritos Beach. We owned the Riviera Nayarit. We owned a ton of stuff and then sold it all out. So it's extremely lucrative. There's a lot of ways to do it cross border. Again, that's where a Nevada company with a Mexican real estate in California, that strategy and then the tax implications are awesome. How you get the funding, we have over 500 funding sources. We have 0% funding. A lot of times when another way to do it though is you could borrow money from people that friends and family money, people that you might meet in our community over time. There's a lot of people that are, capital raises might need 100, 200,000. And one of the greatest places to find capital is in lazy IRA accounts. A lot of people have IRA accounts they left behind 401ks if they're old employer and they haven't self-directed them. So we can self-direct the money. We can get it in a position where you can borrow it from them and use their money. So there's lots of ways I'm going to teach you how to get pretty unlimited money. And if you found some good projects in Mexico, we would also help you evaluate them. And there are people, I mean, myself included, and multiple people who do want to go back down and buy more land in Mexico. So again, partnering has always been my way to success because you can spread out the risk amongst brains and money and time. So it's not all on you. So if you think you're going to try doing this alone, that's an insane way to do it. A lot of people do it, but I think that's an insane, slow way to do it and riskier because you're all by yourself. Why not partner with more experience, more money, all that?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that was a huge answer. It's probably a 1 to 2 year plan just to get you to that part I just talked about. And then I'm just going to say, who knows what's next? You're young, you're aggressive. I mean, there's a lot you can do. So, and eventually you might get excited to be an engineering consultant. And there's a lot of engineer companies where they started as an engineer. I'm thinking of one couple. Now they have a Phoenix business that does 2-3 million, and they just opened another office in Vegas that just cleared $1 million. And they were engineers, and then they specialize into consulting and make way more money. So that's kind of a, get to know those folks and how they play. And again, you may partner and be their California office. I know exactly the couple that I'm thinking about because they have so much work they can't breathe. They need engineers desperately. So a way is to kind of partner in to work with them and then open an office with them. I mean, that's the kinds of things that you're going to get introduced to is how do you do these things?
Okay, yeah, it sounds really exciting, and yeah, having the team, all the team together, that's something that it would make the things easier and not just doing it by myself, like you said. Yeah.
100% and 100%. And people don't talk in the financial industry. They don't talk like your life insurance person typically won't talk to your tax people. I mean, they might have like one call, but they're just worried about their one little silo. And then, I mean, the reason I put it together this way is you still don't know like who's watching all the silos and is it actually a good plan or is it all just a bunch of silos that have different strategies and you're still wondering, is this even right? That's usually our client going, I have a lot of these things, but it's not put together right. And that's where the integration comes in.
Okay,
Cool.
perfect.
I think that's everybody for today then. We'll just go through, answer questions, and
So Odyssey is in Arizona. She said, I'm 46, single, and have my own business set up as an S Corp. I feel like I pay way too much in taxes. How can your team help guide me to reduce taxes, make sure I'm structured properly, and do all the necessary documents for our entity? That it was what we specialize in and why we win above everyone else. Because a lot of times you can go get those companies, Secretary of State, LegalZoom, I call it the 99-cent store, but you don't get any help. So, whether you're at S is the right one for you, I'd have to really know what your business is. And again, if you're making well into six figures, you need more than one company, and that's why you're getting killed in tax. And what's interesting about most CPAs is they're recording your history. They're not forecasting you forward saying, okay, I'm projected to make X dollars now in 2025. We have to have a whole tax plan and an investing plan and a corporate deduction plan to make sure all of it works. Does that make sense? Hey, Odyssey, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, we this is what we do really well. And do we have access to really good investment opportunities? So the big table itself in integrated wealth is just education. Where the investment education comes is from each other. I guide obviously a lot of the education, but as far as the deals, I don't have the deals. Like the only one
Yeah.
I have right now is a marijuana, project that I'm working on. But there's Justin, John, Kelly, Aaron. I mean, there's so many people doing real estate across, the world, but mostly in the nation. So yeah, there's that. There's gas and oil education. I mean, there's somebody who's doing something in almost every asset class. I mean, from blockchain to cryptos, storage, RVs, land development, you name it. We have a millionaire in one of those categories. So that's why it's such a robust and rich community, is because we've made all these millionaires in different categories, and then people like you come and say, "Well, I want to learn about storage," so then I introduce you right to the storage teams, and then it's outside of me, right? It's their companies, and you could go do business with them and invest, or, like I was just telling Aldolfo, he could maybe go partner with an engineering firm and have his own part of a company, but partnered in. So yes, we do a lot of that. But to your first question, we'll handle your tax immediately. So we'll do a 3-year tax return review right away. And hopefully, I mean, if your CPA didn't do it right, what's cool about a 3-year review, especially because you have your own company, is, just say we could get 5-10,000 per year back. That's 15 to 30,000 back in what they could have, should have, would have filed in 21, 22, or 22, 23, 24. And if you haven't filed 24, thank God don't. And then we can go back 21, 22, 23. We'll do 24 and we'll do 25 and forward. So you'll get a new tax strategist as part of coming in.
Okay.
You have to still pay like them to do your return, and right. I mean, they have a fee because they're going to become your new team, but I've vetted and trained them, and they're going to do a darn good job for you. And really, a good tax return, like to really take it from where you are to 2025, your best return will probably be maybe 26, but for sure 27. It takes a little while to kind of move you over to really living that strategy. And it's aggressive. I mean, I'd say I'm the most aggressive. Sandy knows that.
Yeah.
I'm the one like leading the CPAs. Why aren't we writing that up? Why do we write off that? And they said, well, I said, it's in the code. Well, I just don't normally do that. That's what you're going to hear from a lot of people. Well, I just don't do that. Well, it's because you don't know how to do it, CPA. Doesn't mean it can't be done. And that's where there's so much confusion in this industry, is you'll hear from so many people that, I can't do it. Well, it can be done. You're just the wrong person. So what I've put together is a team of really, really high level strategists who make sure, they'll go as slow and conservative, or they will go as fast and, diverse as you want.
Okay.
It's exciting, as you can tell.
Yeah.
I get more excited than all of you do.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, because when I was explaining it to her, I might have been vague with what I was trying to, but I think you understand. Basically, I'm just, I started my business, I think it was like 3 years ago. I just kind of started from, just saved up a little money and just been going at it.
That's good.
But last year I did make a lot of progress. But I was basically I'm saying that how you just have that thought like, am I doing all the right things? So am I
We're-
like with my business, I started as an LLC and then I ended up filling out the form for the S Corp. But I don't think I have everything structured right, like the book of business, the minutes, like all that stuff that I hear people talk about to be able to write off a bunch of stuff,
Well, and that's what I'm going to
the
teach
right
you.
way.
Yeah. Well, and your corporate structure is not enough. You're going to need probably, we'll probably do a Nevada asset company, because that's between two companies with two different year ends, and just a way to wipe through your taxes that way. Because right now, if you're making all your money in your S corp, you can only write off so much. So we need
Mhm.
at least one other operating management company. And then as you start investing, you'll get some LLCs that will just, depending on the state you invest in, and build a big structure that way. So, I mean, we
Okay.
put together a little like Legos. So we're going to build the base house, and then we're going to add, another
But
division.
will you help with like looking into say, okay, even say for instance, if you decide, okay, you're good with with a S corp, that's the structure you're
You're
good
not,
with.
you're not big. I can already tell you it's not enough. That's why you're overpaying taxes. So we'll tell you not only,
Yeah,
but I'm going to go
yeah.
back through Odyssey and actually we call it forecasting. So we're going to look at all the bills you pay in your life and move as many personal
Mhm.
bills into the company. So we need to get your personal expenses, make them corporate expenses documented accurately. So then
Correct.
it become deductions, not personal expenses. And that's where a lot of
Yes.
people and the CPAs aren't aggressive enough. So we're going
Yeah.
to move all your
Correct.
expenses over. Yeah.
Because I've been struggling with the CPAs too. I was talking to one of my partners,
Mhm.
referred me to a CPA. We're just not on the same level, on the same alignment. So I found another lady, and
We,
she's telling me more about like how to save tax by putting money in the 401k and all
that's
these
all,
other things.
that's all
You
basic.
know,
Yeah. That's all basic.
um,
In fact,
yeah,
Andy, for him, I'll probably pull Warren, who's in Phoenix or in the Arizona market, back out and see if he can take him as a client. So we got you. When are you two talking again?
me and Cindy. I think it was next. She
Nice
gave me some videos to
to do.
watch. So
We
Good.
yeah.
just talked
Oh, I was
today.
gonna ask you one thing. Oh, Sandy's there.
There's Sandy right there.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you because I was asking her too because and I'm in the process of buying this place that I'm trying to use as my first renter. So I'm trying to take money from the business as a down deposit. Like
Yep.
all that thing is just confusing to me because I know, okay, they're gonna tax me from pulling this money into the other side
Well,
when
I
I'm
know, but
just pulling.
we're going to show you all sorts of strategies on how to take care of that.
Okay,
Yeah, we got you. I got all your questions. We have,
okay,
I have the
okay,
team who can help you put it together. So can you guys talk today?
I'll text him. I'll text
Okay.
him. I can tell
okay.
you.
And then he knows how to get a hold of me. So
Yep.
I will answer any other questions as you need. She'll text them to me, and I will give you some audio answers back.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
Yeah,
Thank
nice to meet
you.
you too. Yeah.
Love to help you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.